Hello friends, welcome to day 4. Today we are going to be practicing our word of the week, which is simple. I should have covered it up here so you could guess it. These are our strokes, and you'll notice that this one is a little bit different than the one from last week. This is kind of like slanted with a little bit of maybe, I don't know if bounce is the right word, but it's kind of a little stretched out compared to the other one that was more upright and more of that like simplified hand lettering style. And the reason that is because I am going to use this word in the quote tomorrow. And so I wanted to create this page in a way where it would look good with that quote. And the quote that we're doing just looks a little better, in my opinion, with it kind of stretched out like this. So, or I should say kind of slanted. And I am going to have to move my paper so that I can see around the camera. I kind of was hiding the page with my hand, so it was kind of hard to see. So hopefully this angle is okay. But I do have a little bit different of a setup here today because I am in my office. I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but it is springtime and it is loud outside. So I was hoping that it would be quieter up here. It actually has been kind of loud, just with dogs barking. So if you hear that, I'm so sorry. I think there are lots of people walking and running and things, and then the dogs that are living nearby are very excitable. So I apologize in advance if you hear that. Yeah, so anyway, I am excited to be able to create these worksheets where we're kind of breaking down one word at a time. I mentioned I would love to hear your word suggestions. Somebody suggested that I do names, which is really fun too. And I think they may have said names of subscribers, but I will say the thing is that I don't really see subscribers' names unless you leave comments. And even then, a lot of times it's not actually somebody's name, it's like a username. And so if you have names, it doesn't have to be your name. It could just be one that you wanted to see hand lettered. Feel free to leave that below for me, and I can get a little word bank of names. That would be really fun to add some names to our practice. So yeah, I would love to hear, and I would also love to hear what kind of style you want to see. If you want to see like a more upright style, or if you like this more scripty, it's kind of slanted style, just let me know your preference. And that would be really fun as well. Otherwise, if you have other word suggestions or even themes to do, I'm happy to take your suggestions, and I've just been writing them down. I came up with a bunch of quotes that I'm going to cycle through unless I have other suggestions that you guys want me to do. But it's just helpful for me when I'm going ahead and planning that I don't have to think of everything on the spot. So it's funny how when I am on the spot, I've said this before, I just forget everything I've ever known, pretty much. Not really, but I don't do well on the spot. So anyway, I think that this worksheet is going to work best with a small size brush pen like what I'm using. This is, again, like I said, the Ritex Sign brush pen, and I absolutely love these ones. And another one that would work is the Tombow Fude pen, or even the Pentel Touch sign pen. Is that what it's called? I have one right here. Brush sign pen. I think it also is called the Pentel Touch. So there are a lot of different pens that would work good with this one, but I would just look for like a smaller size brush pen. If you wanted to use like a more medium one, I think you could. You might just have to expand some of these strokes a little bit. And I would encourage you to just take it as slow as you need. This might be one that takes a little bit longer than 10 minutes if you are going a little bit more slowly than I am, and that's completely fine. What you could also do is just start with a few. You could go like one stroke at a time. So we could do like this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, over and over until you are just out of time. And so that way, if you didn't finish the whole worksheet, it wouldn't mean that you didn't practice every stroke. It would just mean that you didn't practice it as many times as are available on the worksheet. So I should have done that myself. That would have, maybe I'll do that next time. And so I hope that you are finding this 10 minutes of practice just relaxing and enjoyable, and honestly just even a good reminder, like even if you're not practicing the same thing as me, but it's just a reminder to you to take 10 minutes out of your day to slow down, take some deep breaths, and just enjoy the process because that is what it's all about. And I have just a couple lines left here. I do want to mention that when you're using this worksheet, make sure you are following the directional arrows. I know it's kind of, they're kind of random when you're just looking at these strokes, like outside of their context of what they are. This is the circle part of the P. But I don't actually have all of them in order because I did these two together, which they don't go together in the order of how we write them. But I just thought if I was having to double up, those would be good ones to only would do like practice half a line in because they're pretty much the same. They're just one is longer than the other. So yeah, make sure you're taking your time though and looking at those directional arrows if you're confused about what letter you're on when it comes to your strokes. Actually, this one right here that we're actually on, this P here with the L, this looks like it could be all one stroke like this and you could just continue on. But I have split them into two, and I think that that is the correct way to do it, or the easier way to do it. Maybe not correct. That's the way I do it, because I think that it's good to like kind of pick up your pen and reset, and then add that L here, and then you're just going to cover up where you started. And so that looks like I kind of did it all in one, but I really didn't. And so that's what I would recommend, to practice doing them separately. So we have this one. Pick up your pen, and then this one here, and I'll show you that when we get to the actual word. So then I just have the L and the E. I mentioned earlier that next week we are going to practice print style handwriting. So it won't all be print, but there will be a good amount of print because I saw somebody ask if we could practice like other styles like the, I think they specifically asked for the Susie style of hand lettering, and I thought that would be something good to practice because I find that when you're doing quotes or when you're using a journal or just like different practical ways that you're using your hand lettering, you're not always wanting to use script, or at least I'm not. Sometimes when I have a really long quote, I will actually just do print handwriting for most of it, and then I will do script for like the focal words. And so I think it's good to have a print style handwriting that you practice. It doesn't have to be mine. You can come up with your own. But I think that having that in your toolkit makes you, it gives you a lot more options when it comes to setting up your hand lettering like quotes or pages. Also when it comes to like journaling, obviously you're probably not going to like write like this in your journal because that would just be super time consuming and you would need a lot of space. I mean, you totally can do that if you want, but I want you to have another option if you would like it, because that would be a lot of work. And so I know that one thing about hand lettering is oftentimes people say that they love calligraphy or hand lettering, but they have terrible handwriting. Now, I'm not saying that. I just hear that. I get that feedback a lot. And that is completely normal, because I think a misconception to people who don't do calligraphy is that you always have nice handwriting if you do calligraphy. And that is just not the case, because as we have seen, we are not writing when we're doing this. We are drawing random, I shouldn't say random, we're drawing intentional but unique strokes that we just put together like up here, and it makes a word. That is not the same as writing or handwriting. And so it makes sense that not everybody who does calligraphy has a nice print style of handwriting, but I do think it's worth exploring because it gives you a lot more options when it comes to setting up your layouts, or just, even just writing. You maybe are writing a card to somebody and you have beautiful calligraphy on the envelope, but you kind of maybe want your print handwriting to match in there. So I think it's a good practice to have, and that is what we're going to focus on next week. But we're not there yet. I was just giving you a little hint of what's coming. So today, here you go. We have our word, and then we're going to use this again tomorrow in our quote. So I'm going to let you go here because I think I've run a little bit over my 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.